have great content and you're every time somebody goes there, they're leaving your site instead of, like, I would probably subscribe to their RSS, or if they had an email newsletter or something, I might look into that. But they just never are going to gain traction. Just doing the AdSense one click and gone. And I know that's where we started with, is AdSense the only way to make money? I think
right.
We've kind of touched on a lot of different things, but definitely, yeah, you have to attack it from every angle possible and not give people basically an excuse, not to. Well, at least you have to do everything in your power to monetize your hard work. So.
Yeah, I mean it's quite a dilemma, because it's like, well, I'm trying to make money here, and one of the only ways to make money is by providing ads or links that people will click to go elsewhere that will make me money. But at the same time, if my marketing or my content isn't good enough to get people to want to come back some other time, then they're gone forever. And it's like I set up a retail store where I got like a shoe store on Main Street, and people come in the front door, and when they come in the front door, there's a big sign that says, "Pardon our dust." We're working on our store, and there's a big arrow that says, "Please go this way," and it's an exit door that goes right outside the store to put them back in front of the store.
Right.
It's like you didn't do anything. You just had all your traffic coming in, go right back out, and they didn't buy any shoes. So it is a fine line. But once you do get a site set up properly, where you have people coming back, maybe you have an RSS type of feed that people can subscribe, or maybe you just have an easy list or some kind of opt-in list that people can give you permission to email them and follow up with them and to keep communication going and to build that relationship. Let's talk about a few ways that you can monetize your traffic. Obviously we all know that AdSense works. Like you have that nice check. I think it's one of the most viewed things you've ever had on your site.
Yeah.
At least your Shoemoney site, where it showed how you did 100 grand plus in 1 month. So AdSense works, but I think there's quite a bit of myth out there that AdSense is, if you put AdSense ads on your site, that will have the highest net CPM value for your pages. In other words, for every 1,000 times your pages load, that will make you the most money, more than anything else that's out there on the internet. So why even mess with anything else? Or I guess there's two myths that I'd like for you to tackle, for us to talk about. One is that just AdSense alone will make more money per visitor than anything else. And two, adding any other ads to the page for anything else are just going to take away from AdSense, so you shouldn't do that either.
Yeah. On my blog in particular, it's a really good example of something that, AdSense is less than 10% of the revenue on that site.
So you're talking about Shoemoney.com, right?
On Shoemoney.com.
Yeah, I got it pulled up in front of me.
Okay, so basically, I never actually intended for this site to be a big income earner. I basically put AdSense on it, and then one time I had a little contest where people I gave the money to charity, and anyway, so then I found out, wow, there's interest from this space, and so what we did was we went directly to a few affiliate companies, Azoogle Ads and a few others, and said, hey, we're going to open this up, and they snapped it up right away. And so we earn about $8,000 a month in direct advertisements. And those are things, we do not provide statistics. We just say, listen, here's a flat price, and you're either going to be in the rotation or you can have this exclusive spot. But, altogether we make about $8,000 a month. So you combine that, that's way far and above, way, way, way above anything we've ever made from AdSense on that blog. So really, if you're in a niche market and you've got decent traffic or whatever, you should go directly to places and see if they'll advertise. Direct ad placement is probably the highest form of revenue I think there is, period.
Well, let's touch on that a little bit more.
Sure.
Is it really that big of a deal? Like, is it really that hard to get a company to do a deal with you to actually, put ads on your site? I think a lot of marketers are afraid of it, and that's what they like about AdSense. It's just like, set up AdSense account, get the code, copy paste, put it on page, whammo, I'm getting checks even if it's only 30 cents a day.
Sure.
So is it really something to be afraid of? Because when you think about, I came from, where I started, or where I really did a lot of money, was in the 90s during the whole .com run-up when it was reaching popularity, and that's what we used to do. Basically, I had an ad agency. We developed all these different content sites, and we brokered traffic on other people's sites, and we sold ads, $50 CPM, and God bless those good old days when you used to get a lot for traffic. But it's not really that big of a deal to do a deal with somebody, and you kind of have a basic agreement there where they agree to what they're going to get for their money, and how what size the ad will be, where the place will be, how many times it'll run. But so is it really that big of a deal? Is it really? I know the answer, but I'm just asking you: is it really that scary of a thing? Because I think a lot of people think it's something they just can't pull off themselves.
Yeah, it's interesting the perception that people have that it's this big scary thing, and I think that Google has made it a lot easier with AdSense. Thinking like, oh, this is easy. But to answer your question, I mean, every time I've approached an affiliate company or somebody in the market that I talk about, they've been very receptive. In fact, they're like, oh, you have space available. I mean, they're just like, yeah, of course we want to appear there. How much is it? I mean, they don't even, and the thing is, they love dealing directly with you, because normally they have to go through these big companies like Federated Media or Blog Ads or all these companies that are representing you and blah, blah, blah. So
and taking a cut.
Exactly, and taking a big cut at that. Usually they're 30 to 50%. So, I mean, for them just to go directly with you, I just tell them, hey, it's a flat fee this amount a month. And the people that, now I have had a few that come to me and want, well, can you guarantee me? And I say, you know what? If you're welcome to try it for a month, if it doesn't work, I will refund you your money. And I know that's probably not for everybody, and not everybody's in a position to do that. But I mean, most of them were like, oh, okay, that's fair. And those people have just kept advertising. I think I have very fair pricing. It's hard to, and then, well, I guess still sticking with this, I mean, basically how I bill them and stuff, I just invoice them 30 days after. I have a personal assistant that does it, but honestly, it would take me less than, I mean, it's just a WordPress invoice that I use. A Microsoft Word invoice that I use. It takes less than probably a half hour a month to bill these people, and they pay on time. It's very simple because they're affiliate companies, and they don't want a bad reputation. I mean, they just want to get exposure, and they love the exposure that they get. So for anyone in a niche market, I mean, my gosh, if you're in a golf market like we talked about, you should approach golfing people. My father has a fishing website. I did some research, did a who is on, called Bass Pro Shops for him, and, just kind of worked my way up to get to the right person to say, hey, this guy has this fishing website. It's, it gets this much traffic. I think you should get exposure on there, and they were like, okay, how much would that be? And I told them, and they signed the deal. It's done. I mean, it's really not that hard. In fact, I approach people all the time, and I say, well, you have AdSense on there. Have you ever thought about directly approaching the sponsor? And the funny thing is, a lot of time on the AdSense, this advertiser has been buying, CPM traffic, CPM targeted this domain. So that advertiser a lot of times is very receptive because they've been targeting you. So that's another thing to watch for with AdSense. A lot of times it's a gateway drug for advertising, because you'll notice people will target your site, or you could actually approach the people that you see advertising on AdSense.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that happens once you start selling advertising, and once you start running some contextual ad stuff where you do have some little banners or some tower ads or things like that, what seems to happen is, it's just one of the most powerful elements of marketing, which is social proof. It's like if a competitor sees, or a company sees one of their competitors with an ad on your site, like a special banner or some special offer, and they know that it's not just like an affiliate banner where you just went to Commission Junction and that was one of their stock banners, and so you're running on the page. They know that those people have some kind of deal with you to be running that ad.
Sure.
They're now more likely to come knocking themselves and saying, how much for us to have our ad in the same rotation?
Right.
Companies aren't stupid. They watch what their competitors are doing. But there are a number of ways that people could be making more money from their traffic by doing these direct, I guess I would call them retail advertising deals, where it's just like go right to the advertiser, do a deal, and then start running their ads. And of course, you can, in any market, you could just type in kind of your primary keywords for your market, like for golf or whatever else. Find those top bidders that are paying $2 and $3 in some cases, and contact them and say, hey, look, we get X amount of traffic. Even if it's not a lot of traffic, it's not always, people